world of Movie Melee. I am your host, Kaleb Koho, back again for another round 2 match of the Summer Series Singles Tournament. We got a good one today. Matthew Chen taking on Will Cohen. Battle of minds, battle of brains, battle of Chipmunk versus Chenning. Joining me today on the desk is Adelaide Spence. Thoughts on this one, Spence?
Chipmunk versus Chenning sounds like a really bad sequel to Highlander, like Highlander 7.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm so funny. I'm so here for this.
It's gonna be a good one, I think. Matthew had an incredible run at the end of last year, and even a year ago today, found himself in round 2 of the tournament with a crazy upset in round 1. Now finds himself here today in round 2 of the tournament, taking on Will Cohen, who is the virtuoso, having a really solid season this year so far. Teams and singles, makes himself known in round number 2 of this tournament as well. I think it's going to be a good one. So we'll go ahead. We'll start with the virtuoso himself, Will Cohen, and his manager today, Tony Durso. You have found yourself here in round 2 after a solid round 1 match, and now you find yourself on the opposite end of Matthew Chen. Thoughts on your match today?
My initial thought is I barely have a voice, so please be kind to me when I go squeak. But Matt's a great guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. I've only competed against him, I think, once in the Broadway Multiplex Miscellaneous, and boy, was that a hell of a time. But I think this is going to be a great time. I think this is going to be a great match. Tony, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think, Matthew's definitely a great player, but I think Will, even as the 10 seed in a 32-person tournament, is still underrated. And I think that don't be surprised to see Will make a deep run in this tournament. And it started in round 1, and it's going to continue here. So,
for sure. So, we wish you the best of luck. We'll say goodbye to Mr. Durso for now. We'll bring in your opponent today. As one Mike Hanley would say, the man who chens his opponents, Matthew Chen, with his manager today, Dean Manis. You find yourself once again in round 2 of the tournament. A year later, you find yourself in the same position, in a much different seed. Your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I know it's definitely crazy to be the 7th seed, but I guess here I am. I do really like Will. I think the last time we played in that match, it was just like a fight to who was gonna be second. It was a fun time, but no, he's a great guy. He definitely knows his movies, so I'm excited.
Definitely.
Dean, yeah.
Oh yeah, Dean, do you have any thoughts for your player today? Spencer,
I do. I have lots of thoughts because Matthew's great. Everyone knows Matthew's great. Everyone's talking about how great a season Matthew had last year. Well, soon they're going to be talking about how great a season Matthew's having this year because we're in round 2 of the tournament right now, and we're getting to round 3, and we're going to keep going. So there's only one thing left to do, Matthew. That's light the fuse.
I like it. That was very well prepared. All right, we're going to say goodbye to Dean for now. We're going to get round number 1, which works like this. You guys are going to get 8 questions from 8 different areas within the realm of movie trivia. Should you get all 8 questions correct, you'll be issued a bonus question. You have 3 repeats for the entirety of the match and a challenge rule any questions as we get to round number 1. All right, the first question comes in the category of animation. What superhero does the Iron Giant want to be like in The Iron Giant? A very odd relationship to this film.
Why?
It's the first thing I saw after a near-death experience. It's kind of crazy. Saw in the hospital bed. It was great.
Saw blinding light and a robot came.
And then the Iron Giant. Yeah. 5, 4, 3.
You were Ready Player 1.
1. Yeah. Pens down. We're gonna go to Matthew.
Superman.
And Will.
I also guess Superman.
Superman is correct. 1-1. Let's get to your second question, Spence.
In the category of actors and actresses, who appears in the following films? Horrible Bosses, Office Christmas Party, and Juno.
Have you ever had a work Christmas party that you've been to, and was it ever good?
There was a work party a few weeks ago that I said, I don't want to go to this. I'm sleeping in an extra 2 hours. So I went in it to work at 4 p.m.
Fair. Have you been to a work party at all?
No, I don't want to hang out with my coworkers. They're boring.
3,
And
2,
straight.
1. Pens down. We're gonna go to Will.
Jason Bateman.
Matthew.
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman is correct. 2-2 as you get to your third question. The category is scores and soundtracks. Who recorded the song "Call Me" for American Gigolo?
Do you know that was my my nickname in high school?
I don't believe that for a second, and I think your nickname is probably like American Socialist or something. Like I feel like that's what they called you.
Oh no, it was
Like-
dumb fuck.
That makes more sense. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will go to Matthew.
I couldn't remember.
We'll go to Will.
Blondie.
Blondie is correct. So no perfect rounds for Matthew, but Will takes a 1-point lead, 3-2 to get your fourth question.
In classics, what does the blind woman that the tramp falls in love with sell in City Lights? I saw this in my high school film course, which, fun fact, I set up. I designed the whole course.
You designed a course to watch.
I
movies you
designed
wanted to
3
watch.
courses for fucking film in my life. 1 in high school, 2 in college, and I dropped out.
4, 3,
Repeat.
2.
Yep,
That
first
is
repeat
Will's
for Will.
first repeat.
What does the blind woman that the tramp falls in love with sell in City Lights? Because my high school one, I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey twice in a week. Ooh boy. Bottle of pills looking friendly there.
I think the idea of dropping out of your own film course is probably the most Spence thing I've ever heard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will go to Will
Matchsticks.
and Matthew.
Flowers seemed like a good guess.
Flowers is a very good guess because that is correct. So no perfect rounds. We're tied 3-3 as we get to your next question in the category of horror. What is Howie's profession in 1973's The Wicker Man?
What's your favorite song in Hadestown?
A very random detour, I see. I like Chant a lot.
That's a good pick. I think Flowers is pretty high up there for me.
That's that. There it is. There's the connection. I got it. There we found it back. Found our way back. All I've ever known is also very good. 5,
Oh,
4,
that's my number 1. That's
3.
perfect.
2, 1. Pens down. We will go to Matthew.
Doctor?
I will go to Will.
Policeman.
Policeman is correct. So Will extends the lead once again, 4-3. As we get to your next question in the category of crime from Spence.
Yes. What crime film features a cast that includes Colin Farrell, Henry Golding, and Matthew McConaughey?
This sounds like a dream team.
Marry, fuck, kill.
This is not what this shows.
Crime,
This is what.
horror, and classics.
Listen, this is not picture this. Cody will kill us. 5, 4, 3, 2.
He's shaking his head backstage.
1.
Bet.
Heads down. He's holding up the pink slip. We're gonna go to Will.
The answer is fuck all of them. The Gentleman.
Yes, good
Matthew.
pick. Actually, McConaughey.
The Gentleman.
The Gentleman is correct. So we go to your penultimate question, the category of directors. Who directed Julie and Julia?
Did you see the news article that Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are trying to do a DNA test to see if they're actually brothers?
It sounds like they could be. I read the story. It sounds like they might actually be like long lost brothers, and that's wild.
That sounds like a really shitty, like, Delivery Man 2 type movie.
This sounds like a movie that needs to be made. 5,
Thank you.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We'll go to Matthew.
Nora Ephron?
And we'll go to Will.
I also said Nora Ephron.
Nora Ephron is correct. 6-5. Will's favors to get to the final question of the round. Spence.
In the category of comedy. In Scrooged, what industry does Frank work in? We need a semi-specific answer.
That's my favorite. Is the semi-specific. Twohig
My
has
favorite.
general answer. See, the thing is, he does general answer. I think it should be general answer.
Yeah, no, that's
Like-
I do that, but I haven't hosted.
I would do that too. See, I my opinion matters not, but I would as
Pen told me
because
it's
his
still
friend
a thing.
Tim, a big How I Met Your Mother fan, would absolutely should be doing general answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We will go to Will.
I said television production.
And Matthew.
Oh, you said marketing. I don't know.
Television production we can accept. We would have accepted just television. So with that, Will leads 7-5. But anything can happen as we get to round number 2, which is the wheel round, and it works like this. Each competitor is going to get a chance to spin from the level wheel for wheeldecide.com. Like the category land on, you're going to get 5 questions worth 2 points apiece. You can opt to multiple choice, but it devalues down to being only worth 1. You can spin again, but you're stuck with your land on the second time. Will has 2 repeats. Matthew has 3. Your categories on the wheel tonight: Studio Ghibli, written and directed by David Zucker. 1970s music, recent releases. 1990s horror and westerns, as well as spinners and opponent's choice. Will, you are in the lead. We'll bring in your manager, Mr. Durso. Would you like to go first or defer to Mr. Chen?
First off, great round 1, Will.
Thank you.
Way to go. How you feeling for the wheel?
Let's give my voice a rest. Let's have him go first.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Then we will take away Mr. Driscoll. We'll bring in Mr. Manis, and this will be Matthew Spin. Mr. Manis sounds like a very teacher name. Horror. Would you like to keep it or spin again?
I think this is probably maybe one of the better categories to take.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we can take it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take this.
Okay. General horror. Is the category. We'll put the wheel away, and I'll go ahead and I'll give Matthew's questions in horror. I'll put Dean backstage. Matthew, are you ready for your questions in horror?
Yeah.
All right, your first question. Who plays the title character in 1931's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
No multiple choice.
All right, your multiple choice options are A. Lon Chaney Jr., B. Frederick March, C. Claude Rains, or D. Peter Lorre.
Frederick March.
That is correct for 1 point. Your second question. In Reanimator, Dr. West demonstrates his reanimating serum to Dan by bringing what type of animal back to life?
A cat.
That is correct for 2 points. Your third question in horror. As Above, So Below takes place in what city?
Paris.
That is correct for 2 more points. Your fourth question. How does Helen Lyle die at the end of 1992's Candyman?
Burns to death.
That's correct for 2 more points. And your final question in horror. Who directed 1983's The Hunger?
Tony Scott.
That is correct for 2 more points. So at the end of his round, Matthew gets himself up to 14 points. Will has 7 as we bring back the wheel and his manager, Mr. Durso. This is your first spin, and it lands on 1970s. Would you like to keep it or spin again?
Will, this is a good wheel for you. I wouldn't.
I think there's better things on here than 1970s, so I would like to spin again, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you're stuck with it every land on this time on this spin, and you'll be receiving your question in the category of westerns.
All right.
Spence,
you got
go
multiple
ahead
choice, so you're good, man.
All right. Spence, go ahead and give Will his questions in the category of westerns.
All right, Will, are you ready?
Sure.
All right, first question. Which actor plays Taggart, Hedy Lamar's henchman in Blazing Saddles? Hedy Lamar. Sorry.
Slim Pickens.
That's correct for 2 points. The bandit Tuco has a brother named Pablo who has what profession in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Let's go multiple choice, please.
Options are A, lawman, B, carpenter, C, priest, or D, cook.
Cook.
That is incorrect, Matthew, for the 1-point steal. Options are A, lawman, B, carpenter, C, priest, or D, cook.
Priest.
That is correct for 1 point. In which 2010s Western does a main character have a horse named Fritz that performs greetings on command?
I didn't realize there was more than one 2010s Western. Let's go multiple choice.
Options are A, The Magnificent Seven, B, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, C, The Hateful Eight, or D, Django Unchained.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
That is incorrect, Matthew, for the 1-point steal. Options are A, The Magnificent Seven, B, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, C, The Hateful Eight, or D, Django Unchained.
A.
That's also incorrect. Looking for D, Django Unchained.
Oh.
Which actor appeared in the westerns The Shootist, Cheyenne Social Club, and An American Tale, Fievel Goes West?
James Stewart.
That is correct for 2 points. Your final question. In which 2011 film does Sam Shepard play legendary outlaw Butch Cassidy, who is now an old man living in Bolivia with an unassumed identity?
Multiple choice.
A, Appaloosa, B, Blackthorn, C, Walker Payne, or D, Old Henry?
I want those options one more time, please.
Yep. A, Appaloosa, B, Blackthorn, C, Walker Payne, or D, Old Henry?
Old Henry.
That is incorrect, Matthew, for the 1-point steal. Options are A, Appaloosa, B, Blackthorn, C, Walker Payne, or D, Old Henry?
B.
Can you repeat that?
B, as in boy.
That is correct for 1 point.
All right. So at the end of that round, Matthew leads 16 with those steals, Will getting a score up to 11. But anything happens, we get round number 3, which is the pick your poison round. And it works like this. We're going to allow our competitors to choose what categories they would like questions from at a 1, 2, 3, and 4 point value. Those categories tonight being John Carpenter, Sandra Bullock, biopics, comic book movies, Will Smith, 1970s directors, and romantic comedies. We'll let these competitors choose those and be back with you momentarily. All right, our competitors have chosen their categories that they would like. So we'll start with Will because he's behind. Will, you have chosen your 1 point question in the category of the man who slaps Will Smith. Your question is, which Will Smith film was the acting debut of son Jaden Smith?
The Pursuit of Happiness.
That is correct for 1 point. Your 2 point question, you've chosen the category of comic book movies. And your question is, Jason Fleming plays which literary character in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That is correct for 2 more points. We'll stay with Will for his 3-pointer in romantic comedies. If he hits this, he will send it back to Matthew. Your 3-pointer in romantic comedies. What 2000s rom-com is about a morning show producer who takes control of a morning show segment on modern relationships hosted by a misogynistic man?
The Ugly Truth.
That is correct for 3 points and the lead. So we send it back to Matthew to answer some questions.
All right, Matthew, are you ready for your 1-pointer in biopics?
Mm-hmm.
Who plays the titular character in Ray?
5, 4, 3,
Jamie Foxx.
2.
That's correct for 1 point. All right, your 2-pointer in rom-com. Who stars as Viola in She's the Man?
Five, 4.
Amanda Bynes.
That is correct for 2 points and the lead.
All right, with that, it sends it back to Will for his 4-pointer here. If Will hits this, he'll send it back to Matthew to answer a couple questions for his chance to win the game. If he misses, Matthew will win the game. So we go to your 4-pointer, Will, in the category of Sandra Bullock. And your question is, in 28 days, what is Gwen able to do to the horse outside of the bar towards the end of the film that she was not able to do while in group therapy? Five, 4.
Repeat.
We'll second repeat your question again. In 28 days, what is Gwen able to do to the horse outside of the bar towards the end of the film that she was not able to do while in group therapy?
I'm not going to drag this out. Approach it.
And your winner, Little Chef Matthew Chen. The answer was lift its hoof. Looking for lift its hoof. I think this was a solid performance from both competitors. A tight game all the way down to the end. Spence, thoughts on this one?
I said it when we're deciding round 3 categories. They both beat the round 1 scores, which were a lot lower than I think both players wanted. So I think coming into this, both played like a really solid game, better than they probably expected. It just, it went Matthew's way, unfortunately, but Will putting up a very good showing in a losing performance.
Definitely. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into post-match interview, starting with our unfortunate second place finisher today, Will, his manager, Tony. Like Spence said, an improvement from round 1 to round 2, a solid performance throughout. It just kind of came down to that 4 and maybe just a Westerns category that wasn't quite what you were expecting. But a great round 1. 7 points in round 1 is fantastic. So how are you feeling about your performance today?
I did exactly what I could. You're right. 7 points out of round 1. That's the best I've ever done. So second round in a tournament with the questions being harder, that really is a feather in my cap there. My round 3 performance, that's a pretty typical round 3 performance for me. But you're right. If I would have gotten a better category, maybe even stuck with 1970s, this might have been a different game altogether. So I'm not diminishing anything from Matthew's performance. Matthew put in a great performance too. His round 1 may not have been where he wanted to be, but he just absolutely slayed that horror category, which usually slays a lot of people. So I give him all the props in the world to that. Tony?
Yeah, it really came down to round 2. I mean, we were talking about the wheel, and there was literally 2 categories we did not want to land on, and naturally we landed on it. Which, I mean, that's the game. And, I think Will's still did good in round 2, considering he did not want that category. I think he did good in round 3. I mean, obviously, hitting your first 3 and then, 4-pointers are 4-pointers for a reason. So, I mean, it is what it is. Will played great. Matthew just played a little bit better today, and Will's going to come back from this, and he's, like I said, he's just going to take off. So,
speaking of taking off, now that you have a little bit of time off out of this tournament, when you come back, is there anyone you are hoping to face off with in the ring?
Tony, is there anyone that you would like to see me play?
I wouldn't mind seeing a Milwaukee Bears face off, but
That
you
would
know.
be
That would scare the shit out of everybody.
Exactly.
that would be
Those strengths are nightmare inducing.
exactly that would be a lot to handle for our poor writers. But we'll see what happens and what we can do. You had a great show today. We'll hopefully see you again real soon after this tournament. We will bring in our winner today, Matthew Chen, and his manager Dean. I could see Dean just getting excited through the entire horror round backstage. I, as someone who has managed you in the past and known you in the past, seeing you do that well at horror, I was a proud dad moment. I was like, look at your growth. I think you played a solid game, definitely a perseverant game through and through. Got just better round to round. How are you feeling about your performance today in this match?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy about my performance. I knew, like, out of round one, like, you know, I'm generally not the greatest at it, but I still feel like I'm happy about the 5 points that I scored. And Will, great job on the 7 points. Like, that was great too. But I think needed to get a good spin here, and I think, you know, just trusting myself on horror instead of spinning again really you know, helped for me. And then yeah, I think Westerns is a category that generally nobody wants, so just unfortunate luck for Will there. But yeah.
I mean, definitely, Dean. Thoughts on your teammate here? You definitely seemed pretty excited before match, during match. How are you feeling?
I was pumped backstage. Matthew was just nailing all the horror questions. That round 2 was incredible. I mean, you scored 11 points in round 2. Like, that just completely swung the game in your favor. You had a great round 1, but Will had just an incredible round 1 with 7 points there. So, you know, we went into round 2 behind, not where we wanted to be, but just crushed that round 2, 11 points there, and then took care of business in round 3. I mean, mission accomplished. Let's go.
For sure. Well, you have won. You've punched your ticket to round 3. At least this is your first time making it to the quarterfinals here in this tournament, which I'm sure you're excited about. You'll be facing the winner of either one Matt Cuellar or Dylan Van Thine, two guys who have been having a pretty great tournament so far. Thoughts on playing either of those guys, and who would you rather face?
You know, I mean, definitely scared of both players. You know, like, Matt has been around longer, but Dylan, I know he's had been really strong this year. So I already had to play him in teams, and so I know how well he did there. Yeah, so I'm definitely scared of both.
Absolutely. I'm sure Dylan would love to get a one-on-one match with you. I'm sure Matt just is excited to be here. So either way, I feel like it's gonna be a fun one. Congratulations, everyone. We'll see you in the next round. Spence, put a bow on it.
Good match.
Pretty bow. Thank you guys so much for watching Movie Melee. This has been another great one for round 2. That has been Matthew. That has been Dean. That has been Tony. That has been Will. That has been I. And this has been Melee. See you guys real soon with another great match.
Goodbye. Later.
After you, Junior. We'll always have Paris.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
You've been taken.
Bye.